friends, welcome back to TechnoGeek SFDC. In today's video, we are going to see how you can create the pick list in Lightning Flows. Since you know that Lightning Flows are very powerful tool, you can create screen flows and other types of flows. So you have a very important component in screen flows called pick list, where you have some predefined values and the user can select from the predefined drop downs. Okay, so we will see what are the different types of pick list options available in Lightning Flow and how you can create them. Okay, so in Lightning Flows, we have basically four types of pick list. Okay, in terms of in flow terminology, we call them as a choice set. Okay, so basically they are set of records, or you can say set of values available, and you can select one or multiple from them. So we have four types of choice set. First one is normal choice set, where you know that yeah, these are the predefined ones, and you can create one by one choice set into it. So we will see how you can create a normal choice set or normal which will act as a drop down in your Lightning Flow. So for that, you will be having one screen component first. Like you can, so I'll show you here. You can uh, click on plus, and then you have something called screen. Okay, so you can have one screen component, and then in screen component, let me give some name, demo pick list types. Okay, now next is in the components you can select for something called pick list. Okay, so as soon as you draw the pick list here, you will get, first you need to enter the name. Okay, any name which you want to give to the label. Let's say I'll give single choice set. Okay, so once you give the label, you can see that the label of the dropdown has been updated with the one which you are giving in label. Next is what is the type of data. You can have either text, number, currency, boolean, date. So what type of, so the values which will come in the dropdown are of what type, whether it's a text, number, currency, boolean, date. You can select from them. So by default, let's say we'll keep it as normal text. You have another option to make it as required or non-required. So if you check this checkbox, the drop-down will become mandatory for a user to select. Now, next comes is an option that what are the values which you will be seeing in the pick list. Okay, so currently first we will see about the normal choice set, right? What the normal values we have. Okay, so here you have component type, like whether you want to show it as a pick list or radio button, we'll keep it as pick list. Now, next is you have option to create multiple choices here. Okay, so one you can create one choices, and those one choices will start coming into your drop down. So let's say I'll first click on this new choice resource. Okay, now what type of choice resource it will be, whether it's a single value or whether it will be a collection. So currently we'll see the single values. Okay, so you can select the first option. If you see, they have given description as well, create a choice based on the screen component. Now you need to give some API name. Let's say I'll give choice 1. Okay, and then I'll give let's say label as choice 1 here. And so this is the label. Label will be something which user will see on the UI. But on select of the drop down, what value you want to pass it to the other components of the flow, that you will define here. Okay. So again, this can be of different types like text, number, currency, date, and boolean. So let's say I'll give here as uh, choice 1 selected. Okay. So I'll select this one. Okay. And then I'll click on done. So now what it has done, it has created one choice, and it has added to the pick list. So currently I'll be having only one value in the drop down. Next, further you can add more and more choices based on your requirement, how many you have. So if you want to add one more choice, you can click on add choice, and then again you will get the same option. So you can create one more choice resource here. Okay, so let's say I'll use choice 2, and I will be using uh, let's say name label I'll be giving as choice, type I'll keep it as default as text, and value I will select as choice selected 2. Okay, and I click on done. So now here what we had done is we had created two choice resources. They are individual choice resources. Okay, so they are individual choice resources which I have created here, and that will be showing as a drop down. So this is one way of creating the pick list. So let me just quickly click on done, and I will run this once. Okay, let's say I'll just do a debug. So usually when you do the debug, it takes a little bit time to load and get the uh, things on the UI. Okay, okay, I didn't save it here. Sorry, I'll just save it. Now if I do a debug, see, so what you can see here is I have now choice set, and then I have choice one and choice two. Two different choices I have, and whichever I will select. Let's say I'm selecting choice one here. Okay. Now if I click on next, so if you can see this particular section where it is telling that user has selected choice 1 on the runtime, okay, and the value which has been passed is choice 1 selected, the value which we had given while configuring the choice. Similarly, if you will select to choice 2, it will be updated to choice 2 selected, the value which we are giving when we are configuring the choice. So this is one way of adding the pick list values on the pick list component on the screen which you have. Okay. Similarly, let's say if you have already a predefined set of values with you. Okay. So in that case, instead of and for example, let's say you have two pick lists. Okay, and both the pick lists are having predefined values into it. So instead of configuring choices one by one here, you have another option. Okay, I'll show you that option as well. So we have another option called collection choice set. So what collection choice set do? It will uh, okay. So collection choice sets are basically used. Let's say you have some predefined values which you are configuring in Apex. Okay, so the power of Apex is that you can get the records on runtime, and then you can show it on the UI, right? So collection choice sets will be used where you have some Apex processing going in backend, and it will in turn return you the list of collections or a list of choices. Okay, and then you can use that on the screen flow to showcase it. Okay, so collection choice sets are basically used when you have Apex into picture to get the drop down values. Okay, so again, since I don't have any collection Apex here defined, but okay, Apex defined collections, I don't have any Apex collection defined, that's why it's not coming in dropdown. But if you have some invocable methods, or if any Apex functions are there, definitely you can use it here. So this is the difference between your collection choice set and the normal choice set. Normal choice sets are basically one by one you are entering the choices, and collection choice sets is some are the list of choices or the drop down values which you will be retrieving from the Apex, and you will be showing it on the screen flow UI. So I hope this difference is clear now. So currently we have seen the normal choices which you can do a normal choices with the predefined values, and then you can show it on the UI. But what I would say that if you get some requirement to show a existing picklist, so let's say on the account, okay, on account, let's say you have a pick list field called rating, okay, and you want to show the value of that particular pick list field on the flow. So instead of so you have one choice that you can configure the different all the elements present in the pick list of that particular field into your Salesforce flows. Okay, but again, the maintenance will become difficult because let's say tomorrow if any other value gets added to the pick list, then again you need to come here, come to the flow and make the adjustments. Okay, but let's say, or what if I say that you don't need to do that? You can directly fetch the pick list values from the field and show it on the UI. That is also possible. So how that is possible is by using pick list choice set. Okay, so we have another option called pick list choice set. S- In pick list choice sets, let's say I'll give rating fields. You can first select the object from where you want to, on which that particular pick list field is there. Okay, so I will select account. Data type I will keep it as pick list. You have option, either you can get pick list or multi-select pick list. I'll select as pick list. Now, as soon as you select the pick list, all the pick list values or all the fields which are of pick list type of single pick list, not a multi-select, single pick list type will start coming in the drop down. Okay. So let's say I will select this rating. Okay, and then you have an option to sort it. Either you can keep it the um, normal order in which it is present on the field, or if you want, you can do the sorting in ascending and descending order in the flows. So I'll keep it as the default order, and then I'll click on done. Now I have a rating field. Okay. Now if I click on done and save it, now let me see the debug. So when I'll do the debug, now you can see that I have not configured these values, but still it is coming in the drop down. From where it is coming? So this values are coming from the field rating which is present on account. Okay, so this is one way of dynamically getting the pick list values into flow. Okay, that is from the existing field you can get the values and you can show it on the UI. For that you will be using the pick list choice set. Okay, that is which we have configured here. It will be a pick list choice set. Okay, next, let's say you get a requirement that in the drop down you don't need to show the text values, or let's say the pick list value. Instead you need to show the records name. Okay, so let's say in the drop down I want to show the let's say first five account object. Okay, and then user will see the user will select the values from that particular account account record, or user will select that account, and then you will be passing that account ID to the next components of the flow. In that cases, we use record choice set, where your complete choice set will be formed based on the records of the Salesforce, not on a particular picklist field or something, but it will be prepared based on the records of the Salesforce. So how we can do that? Again, when you click on new choice resources, you have an option called record choice set. Okay, so once you click on this and record choice example, I'll give an API name. Now you can select that which object records you want to show in the drop down. So let's say in my case I'll just keep it as account. Further, you can do the filtering, that let's say if you want something like you can say rating. I'll again keep the rating only. Rating equals hot. Okay, and then you have options to sort it. You have one more option, that how many records you want to show it in the drop down. Okay, so in this you can define, like if you, let's say your query or whatever the filter you have put here, it is returning let's say hundreds of records, but you want to show only first five records in the drop down. So for that you can put a number here called 5. Okay, so here if you see um, the same description what we have just discussed, it will show you that you can give the maximum number of choices. If you will leave it as blank, then it will show all the records. Okay, so now what we have done till now, we have selected the object and we have put a filter. That flow will basically fetch the records from account based on this filter. Okay, now so it has got the resources. Now how it will create the choice set? So basically in any pick list value you have two things, you have a label and you have a value. label is something which users see on the UI, and value which is being passed. Okay, so now we will configure the pick list. So here you have first option that which field you want to show it as a label. So let's say I'll give account name to show it as a label. Okay, and then what will be the value, what will be the data type of the value which will be passed to other components or the other components of the flow. So let's say I'll just keep it as text. And what will be the value, basically which field will be considered for the value of that pick list. Okay, so let's say I'll select account ID and I can click on done. Okay, now if I click on done and I'll save it, now I will again click on debug. So now if you see here, what it has done is it has done a query on the account object. It returned me all the accounts which are having rating as hot. Okay, it has rating as hot, and then it has created this drop down for you so that user can select from this particular drop down. Now let's say if I select this demo contact and I'll click on next. So as you can see that again in the same component, it will give you the option, it will give you the information that user has selected demo contact on the runtime, and the value which has been passed to the other components. Okay, or the value which has been stored on the selection is the ID of the record. Okay, so this is the beauty of your record choice set, where you can show the records in a drop down instead of a pick list value. Okay, so I hope you got an idea of what are the different types of choice sets we have in Lightning Flow, which you can use it in use it in the pick list components in Salesforce. Okay. Again, if you see, you have different types of pick list, like multi-select, you have dependent pick list or normal pick list. So again, if you let's say select a multi pick list, you will get the similar options here. Okay, and then either you can create your own choices one by one, or you can use Apex to create the choices for you on a runtime basis or something, or you have an option to use the records as a drop down, or you have an option to use any particular drop down field which will be of a a pick list type field to show it on the UI. Okay, so I hope you got an idea of what are the different types of pick list and how you can configure them in the lightning flows. So with this, we will wrap up this session. And if you have any query, you can definitely comment it on the video. And any query, if you want to talk personally, you have my email ID in the about section. You can drop me an email. So with this, we will wrap up today's session. Thank you for your time. Thank you.